Hello my friends and welcome from the night forest. The sun already went down, it's getting cold, but I want to record the video especially for you. Probably this image gonna be a little bit darker than usual. We also have rain, kind of nasty weather, but still the air is fresh and it's kind of encouraging for me to record the video for you. And today it's gonna be the case of the Russian propaganda in the Western media sources. I took the article from the New York Times for review because the Russian media also spread it wide. The article is dedicated to the company which is producing Flamingo missiles. Its name is Firepoint. They not only produce Flamingo, but also FP-1 drones, FP-2 drones, and FP-5 Flamingo. And also we know that they have some of the perspective drones in the coming future. They're now working on those. So on 26th of October, a journalist of the New York Times, Andrew Kramer, it's not the first time he's publishing some sort of the controversial articles, published kind of the big test relative to the Firepoint company, where he hints some sort of the corruption schemes of this Firepoint company, and he connects everything of that to President of Ukraine, Zelensky. The accusations are out there, vivid and also behind the lines. That's why Russian propaganda really likes this article. They translated it to Russia and share it elsewhere, also in Russia Today and Forbes Russia and so on. So the main idea of this article that there was the government contract between Firepoint and government of Ukraine for the sum of $1 billion. Wow! Is it something unusual really that the company that produces drones and missiles massively receives the budget money for its production? Yes, before the management of the company was involved in producing different stuff, also for the project Quartal 95, that's the comedy project of Zelensky. Then he was a comedian. They were producing some scene stuff for his shows, but it was just one of the contracts. But indeed, the part of the Firepoint management, they know Zelensky and Zelensky knows them. Which means what? Well, basically nothing. It means because there are many of the Ukrainian companies who were doing some different stuff before the war, but now they started the military production. We're speaking about multiple of the drone companies, which also received the financial support of the Ukrainian government. It is normal for the country which is at war with such a great big enemy as Russia. And in that New York Times article that Andrew Kramer wrote, there is no freaking evidence of those corruption schemes. What he writes is that this company was working with them, with Zelensky at some period of time somewhere in the past. So it's some strange stuff. Let's accuse them for corruption. The fact of Zelensky knowing someone doesn't mean that there are some of the corruption schemes. So in this video, I want actually to defend Zelensky on this specific one, because without any proofs, you cannot post those kind of the articles in the Western media accusing someone of something. Well, it could be done by some sort of the influencers, yeah, maybe even pro-Russian influencers who might say, kind of weird stuff, let's accuse Zelensky. But for this kind of the respectable legacy media to do that stuff, guys, it's kind of weird. I think it is actually the sign that this particular journalist and media in general, the editor who approved that article, they are very strange, let's say. Even in MAGA media, those kind of the articles nowadays are kind of rare to see, also from MAGA influencers. Well, here we are not speaking about Tucker Carlson or something, but we see how with the change of the attitude of Donald Trump, the MAGA community and MAGA influencers, they change also their opinion. And now there are more MAGA people supporting Ukraine. I clearly see it. Also, Zelensky played the great role here as well, because he works with MAGA community. He started it, and according to statistics, the support of the help for Ukraine, including military, well, the number of the people is higher than it used to be, at least in spring this year. So it's important also to work with that side of the American community. That's why I also on my channel lowered the rhetorics about Donald Trump's wrongdoing, and I would say that for the last couple of weeks after he applied sanctions on Russia, I will not criticize him. I'll wait what he might do next. And if he restarts the military support for Ukraine as it was with Joe Biden, at least at this scale, well, I'll finish to film about Donny completely, and for me he will be even better president than Joe Biden, because somehow Joe Biden didn't apply those hard sanctions on Russia, and they're really severe. But it's like a first step. We'll see where it might lead, because now for Trump it's like personal humiliation, was a humiliation from Putin. So he decided to pay back with those sanctions. And for Putin, it's kind of the severe hit. Well, the point of today's video is not Donald Trump and his relations. The main idea that those legacy media also, it doesn't matter if it's MAGA or not, but they are working for more sensational articles than for the real cause. And they're making the elephant from the fly. It's the saying in Ukrainian, "Робиш з мухи слона." It means that you blow up the problem too much that it may influence the real cause. Ukraine has just started the production of those Flamingo missiles. Yes, they're very bad. They're now, let's say, not that effective as they could be. Ukraine is working to improve navigation system, precision, maneuverability. So it's a long way actually to make this product working. And Ukraine is looking for investors. And those articles are coming from New York Times. Come on, what are you doing? Andrew Kramer is just ruining the reputation based on nothing. And if this Firepoint company was producing something before the war, it's good. It gives it more credibility nowadays during the wartime, because they had the experience in something. Yeah, it's better than to start from the scratch. They have employees, they have managers, they know how to work in some sort of the business. As I mentioned, there are multiple of the companies in Ukraine which were doing different stuff before the war. Some sort of the car maintenance, some production of food, and now they're making sophisticated stuff for Ukrainian army. And of course, if there is a legal investigation done by Ukrainian Prosecution Office or Ukrainian Independent Prosecution Office or Anti-Corruption Bureau, if they find out that there were some of the bribes, or maybe the company over-exaggerated the price for their production, well, in this case, I would say yes, there is definitely corruption. But reading the New York Times article, which is based on just personal connection relation between Zelensky somewhere in the past with a part of the management of the company, this is outrageous. The accusations in the article really based on nothing. And by the way, there is the company that produces the most of the drones in Ukraine, and the main director of that company is not in a good relations with Zelensky. He was the producer of the TV show Schuster Live, where they criticized Zelensky multiple of the times, but still that company receives the most of the contracts from Ukrainian government. So what are we speaking about even here? And New York Times, it's crazy. I'm butt-hurting a little because I don't understand that argument from this Andrew Kramer in the article he mentioned. And by the way, if you speak about the Quartal 95, the comedy project of Zelensky in his previous life, it was the most effective TV project in Ukraine. Everyone was watching Quartal 95. People loved it, and those contractors who worked with this project, they're outstanding, they're professionals. And now some of those contractors who were in this ecosystem of Quartal 95, they are working to produce Ukrainian military. I don't see any sort of the wrongdoing here. Kramer in his article referred to some sort of the internal audit of the company, which said that definitely the prices for the products were over-exaggerated, but in fact you will not find any sort of the information about this internal audit because it has never happened. It was already confirmed by Ukrainian Defense Ministry Commission. Also, Kramer relied to Ukrainian Major Kasyanov. His company was also producing some sort of the drones, and that company is the competitor for Firepoint, so they haven't received the contract. And he started to accuse the Firepoint that their drones are not good. After it, allegedly, Kasyanov's unit was dismissed, but there were different reasons for it. It's not connected to Firepoint. Also in the article, they say about the Special Military Committee of the Ukrainian Defense Ministry, the purpose of which is to investigate the contracts or cross-check those. So in the article, they say that this committee or agency, they send a request for the possible investigation, but it has never ever happened. This information from New York Times is basically fake. It was busted by this committee itself. They say if they find out something, they usually inform Ukrainian Anti-Corruption Bureau, Ukrainian Police and Prosecution Office. It wasn't done in this case. So the information in New York Times, again, it is fake. So for me, it is kind of strange that that article was created. It clearly shares the pro-Russian narratives, undermining the Ukrainian military production at the very crucial moment for Ukraine. Then Ukraine is in lack of the long-range weaponry. We know the story with Tomahawks. Hopefully one day they will be supplied to Ukraine. There is also the problem with the ground launchers. So the only possible alternative for now for Ukraine is to produce Flamingo missiles. Yes, they are not ideal, but there is no other solution, unfortunately, for now. Yeah, guys, after those articles, well, I don't like legacy media in general. I think that the future goes for independent journalism, for influencers like what I do on my channels. I think it's very important nowadays. The old type of media, they lost their credibility. They're completely out of reality, out of ground. They don't have the connection to people as we have on this channel, on my main channel. So guys, I'm gonna keep you informed, update you on everything, and thank you so much for watching this video. Press the like for it. So what I want to say, ciao.